So we have some exciting news. Over this next week, we'll be getting 2 new Archbosses, which will drop some of the best gear in the game. One of the bosses you've faced before, but never quite defeated her. You faced her in the ant tunnels, and yeah, she very nearly ate you alive. However, you did face her again later as part of the story in that section of leveling up. A great big sandworm. Gonna give you all those Dune vibes. But here, we didn't quite defeat her. Merely injured this great monstrosity with some fire arrows and explosives. But she's finally gonna be making a return where we can all group up and defeat her together. We can see already exactly what gear she'll be dropping and when exactly we'll get to face her. October the 26th, with the second Archboss Trevent on October the 30th. Both of them will drop 7 new gear pieces, which thanks to our guys at Questlog, we can actually see. First of all, we have Queen Belandir's Lashing Blade, a sword and shield with a multi-target effect. When you use your Annihilating Slash, you can create an area of quicksand, which will decrease enemies' movement speed by 60% and a 70% chance to apply collision, pull enemies within the radius, but a whopping 34-second cooldown. Does have a whole bunch of strength, nice damage reduction, and overall looks pretty solid. Then we have Queen Belandir's Toxic Spine Throwers, a set of new crossbows. These are going to have nicely a 28% offhand double attack chance. That's like the highest in the game, with then the ability to cause your target to take poison damage. And that can even stack up to 3 times. No annoying cooldown, so the more you attack your target, the more damage you could output, making this pretty much the best in slot crossbow you could use, as right now the only real contender is the Rex Chimeras crossbows. However, this one will have a little bit less base damage by 9 points total, but I think the poison will well worth make up for it. Then we have Queen Belandir's Hive Mind Staff, having the ability of applying Weaken Burning with staff skills, creating a 5% chance of applying Explosive Instinct effect, and that means it'll deal 540% of base damage to the target and 1080% of base damage to all enemies within a 3-meter radius. So pretty explosive there and great additional multi-target. If we combine that with the highest base damage of any staff in the game, this will probably be best in slot for you guys. Then there is the Ascended Guardian Hood. It comes out as one of the best for healers because of the set bonus skill heal increase by 25% if you get 4 pieces. So you could get this headpiece and then 3 of the others. And since it has pretty decent stats, again, it's probably going to be best in slot for your healers out there. Then you have the Swirling Essence Robe. This one again comes with a set bonus, Mother Nature set. Has a decent boost to dexterity, wisdom, and what's super special is heavy attack chance. This will make this armor piece pretty much best in slot for everybody to use. Damage dealers, yeah, just chance to deal double damage is massive. Healers, chance to deal double heal is great. The set bonus is not really something I would go for there. Generally not necessary, but these are like the other pieces you'd need to get in order to complete that set. But yeah, absolutely best in slot. It's the only armor piece in the game that has heavy attack chance boost, which is a huge gain in damage and even healing. Then we have the Phantom Wolf Gloves. These come out with the Ghost Wolf set, allowing you to gain bonus damage and offhand weapon attack chance. So this set can be super good for those crossbow and dagger wielders. I'm not sure if it's going to be best in slot versus getting like melee heavy attack chance and 14% critical damage. I will have to do some comparisons, but still looks like a very good piece, and you can see the other gear you would need to get if you wanted to get the full set effects. And finally, with Queen Belandir, we can get the Band of Universal Power. This is simply a ring giving a massive amount of stat points. 3 dex, 3 wisdom, 3 perception, and 3 strength. Again, at level 9. And other than that, nothing too spectacular. It does have like max mana and mana regen, so it's not really the ideal ring to use, as you would tend to prefer to have max HP, at least if you're a tank or a DPS. But that is everything for Queen Belandir and what we can expect to obtain other than Queen Belandir's Soul Fragment. She will be making her first appearance on October the 26th for early access servers. But then let's go to the second Archboss, which will be releasing on October the 30th, again for early access servers. And he comes out with even more new gear pieces. Another 7. We start with the Warblade of Despair. This being, yes, a great sword, and it will have a unique effect of Trevenant's Despair Trap. Upon applying collision, shock or stun with a great sword, an area with a 1.5 meter radius around the target will be created that explodes in 1.5 seconds, dealing 325% of base damage. That can be pretty useful if you can, I guess, stick your target within that area and deal a bit of extra damage. And that doesn't seem to have a cooldown, so it could trigger every single time, significantly improving your damage on those CC abilities. However, you will miss a fair amount of base damage compared to the greatsword you can get from Junabote. But let's move on to the Trevenant's Fangs of Fury, a new set of daggers giving you the ability of Trevenant's Furious Rage, resetting your camouflage cooldown on enemy kills within 5 seconds of its expiration. And Camouflage Cloak deals 205% of base damage to all enemies in a 3 meter radius with a 70% chance to apply Collision Push. So effectively, you would use this to hop in and out of stealth. You'll go jump a target, kill him, and then move on to the next, immediately being able to go into stealth again. Could be quite nasty. However, for crossbow and dagger wielders, it's not going to compete with the Wicked Thorns here because of that base damage boost which applies to all of your abilities, including those from the crossbow. However, this does provide 17 bonus damage plus 10 dexterity, so it can be very viable. Now let's move on to the Trevenant's Arc of Wailing Death. This is a new longbow, and it has the ability of Trevenant's Bombardment. Shoots a bonus projectile whenever using strafing, dealing 54% of base damage. This can actually be useful if you're running longbow and dagger to trigger more thunderclads, allowing you to get that rotation off quicker. And it is a bit of just an extra damage boost then. You gain an absolute ton of stat points there with a significant attack range increase, and it already has a 19.2 meter range, which is like the longest you get in the game right now. On top of that, the base damage is the highest that you'll find of any current tier purple weapons. So yes, it's undoubtedly going to be best in slot for your longbow users. Next up is Trevenant's Grasp of Withering. This is a wand with the effect of Trevenant's Hunger. Applying Curse has a 15% chance of applying Weaken Curse, which deals 35% of base damage over time every 30 seconds. This I don't see as going to be very useful unless you're using the wand for like a support effect for your main weapon, which is for dealing damage. This doesn't seem like it's going to appeal very much to healers, which are usually the players who use wands. So in general, you'd be better off sticking with your Excavator's Mysterious Scepter to boost your healing abilities a bit more, even though the base damage on this is a few points higher, and it does have more favorable like 8 wisdom instead of strength. But let's move on to the Shock Commander Greaves. Some new pants, which will help you get the Shock Commander set, increasing your damage reduction and your block chance if you get the other pieces, as we can see them right here. So this will definitely be for, say, your tanks, with also that added damage reduction and range defense, so overall very nice. Undoubtedly best in slot for them. Next up, Greaves of the Field General. This adds to your Imperator set. Melee heavy attack chance increased by 150, and if you do want to get 4 of the set, that would be a mobility skill move range increase of 10%. Overall, looks very good, and especially if you want to be getting that melee heavy attack chance, it will be best of slot. Just be aware you can use alternative pieces for that. And then finally we have the Shadow Harvester boots. These will help you complete the Death set, gaining 14% extra damage. And this is, again, pretty much best in slot for damage dealers right now. You can use a combination of these different items. Usually people go with the pants and the arms, but this will be a new option and the stats are not bad on it at all, other than say max mana instead of max health with regards to the traits. But that is then it, other than it dropping a soul fragment. As far as I'm aware, these bosses are like field bosses. You're gonna have to face them as a group. They will have a few more complex mechanics versus your standard ones, so try not to die, because if you die in a field boss, your chances of getting loot is reduced. These events can be a good bit of fun with an insane amount of players right here. The setting I highly recommend enabling is to reduce the player count in these locations. But yeah, you're going to have mechanics, you're going to take a bunch of damage. Recommended to come in with a party, because healers can only really heal you if you're in their party. I put the setting of player count to max and you can see how many guys are actually here. But when you reduce it, you only see a few and only a few of their visual effects, because otherwise things would just be crazy. That setting is in graphics, in quality, character count. Put that on low, particularly if you're going into these fights. Otherwise, you just won't see a thing and you'll be lagging out like crazy. I will gather some tips and tricks in a future upcoming video so you can get your completion successfully, but be sure to get the Queen's Venom Neutralizer to be able to cleanse that poison debuff. We can only face the boss once a week, so you probably don't need to stock up that much, but you can buy 20 of it right there. Just make sure you have the guild coins for it. Overall, it should be a good bit of fun and good luck on your drops. These new Archbosses definitely drop some of the best stuff. I personally would love to get my hands on these spine throwers, but the price will undoubtedly be super high until your server can actually get a lot of drops. Other than that, I definitely want to get these pants and potentially these boots. I'm basically going for this set bonus, as both of them will help a lot with crossbow and dagger. I don't think this wolf set can compete with that heavy attack chance and crit damage boost. And so that's it for the video. Hopefully this was somewhat insightful, what to look forward to. And if you're in the middle of grinding some gear pieces, just be aware of these new ones coming out and maybe hold your horses and wait, particularly when you're working on traits. So thanks all for watching. If this was somewhat insightful, consider leaving the video a like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.